Welcome Homeworthy, my name is Ruth McKeaney and we are back on Hillside Farm where we're getting ready to celebrate the 4th of July. Can you believe it's the middle of summer almost already? And what we've got today is my friend Leslie's coming over who can set one of the most amazing fun tables. She's going to show us how she's going to do that. Then she's going to teach us how to make sorbet out of fresh fruit, which is going to be fantastic. Then we're going to head into the kitchen where my daughter Audrey is going to help me make one of our family classics called the Brontosaurus burger. And finally, we're going to end up making a black bean and corn salad with some avocado. It's going to be a lot of fun. I hope you join us. I'm Ruth McKeaney, and this year I'm inviting Homeworthy to join my family for all of our annual highlights at Hillside Farm, our 305-year-old farmhouse steeped in history and love. After decades of flipping houses, my husband Bob and I settled here where we raised our 5 children. We welcome your company as we share in the simple pleasures of life at home. I'll offer tips from my book, Hungry for Home, to help infuse your own home with moments of joy, filling home-cooked meals with flavor for the whole family, and of course decorating with amazing antique finds. So sit back and make yourself at home.
You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story.
I think I see Leslie. Hey, girl.
Hey!
Thank you so much.
Oh my gosh, of course.
Okay. Oh, it's good to see you.
Oh, great to see you.
Oh my goodness. Let me just tell you, she is going to create something that will blow your mind over the table, and I'm going to do the simple job of setting the table. All right. Let me show you where we're going to set up.
Wonderful.
All right.
Beautiful.
So would you describe what exactly you're going to be building?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So this is
You
the
said that.
smoke bush. It has these crazy plumes that open and kind of look like smoke is coming out, which is part of our red, white, and blue.
Okay.
So then I have buckets of flowers that I went and just picked up from Hickory Grove Gardens up in Phoenixville. And we're going to be making a fireworks display.
So it's going to be a fireworks display over the table.
Over the table. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm going to let you start, and I'm
Yeah.
going to get Audrey to help me start setting the table.
Sounds great.
Okay. I love any chance we can to eat at this table because we bought it out in Lancaster where the Amish had made it, and it's different than a normal picnic table. It's much wider, and I love the backs of these chairs. Sometimes sitting at a picnic table on a bench, I can only last for so long, but these are awesome. Yeah, I would love for you to take them. So what I was wanting to do, I like layered tables, so we started with a white tablecloth. That way all the color that we're doing really shows up. And I found this flag runner, and I thought it would be we found that at Terrain. And then Audrey and I went to Home Goods and found some really fun blue plates. Again, just a pop of color. They're salad plates to go on top of the regular plates. One thing fun, so I used linen napkins rather than, I looked all over for a great, fantastic napkin that would go with this, and I thought, why not use just linen? I went to just your regular craft store. It can be, Michael's is where I went, but I got Rafa. I think that's the way you say it. It's kind of a straw, and I just wrapped it around each one of the napkins, and it just adds a fun touch of summer. Okay, I think I'm gonna grab Audrey, go inside, and we're gonna get going on the food while she transforms this table. Okay, it was so much fun. Leslie is a master, and you are gonna see how she just creates something phenomenal. But right now I'm in the kitchen with my daughter Audrey, who it is so much fun to have home from school. And I have roped her into working with me today to do this 4th of July meal because everyone else is at work and they'll be here later. We are gonna start with this black bean and corn salad, which is in my cookbook. It's actually on page 220. Right there, and it is so good, and it's got so many colors. I think that's one of the reasons I love it. It's colorful, It represents all things summer. It's got avocado, tomatoes, fresh sweet corn, black beans, and a great seasoning. So it's a beautiful side dish. And if 4th of July represents nothing else, it's side dishes. So I'm gonna have Audrey, we are doubling the recipe for purposes of today because I have so many coming for dinner tonight. So we're gonna start out with, well, what I did, I'll explain what I did first. I took 2 cans of black beans and I put them in a strainer and I rinsed them off. So I started with that. We're gonna put those in here. And Audrey right now is going to go ahead and cut some different peppers. I like to add different colored peppers just to add all of the color. And then we've gone ahead and we've chopped up some red onion. I love all things red onion, or purple onion as some people would say. But we're gonna go ahead, let's see, what does my recipe say? We're gonna put almost a cup of red onion in that. Just kind of put that all over. So what do you love most about the 4th of July, Aud?
That's a good question. I mean, like you said, I love all the side dishes. I love watermelon. That might be my favorite.
Is that your favorite? Well, we're gonna have watermelon, so there's no worries.
And burgers.
And burgers. So let me give you a hint about what we're going to be doing. Well, first of all, close your eyes wherever you're at and just think to yourself, if I say 4th of July, what comes to your mind? Because to me, 4th of July brings a lot of nostalgia. It brings growing up, it brings watermelon, heat, ice cream, burgers on the grill, and lots of side dishes along with tons of games. So that's what we are wanting to recreate for 4th of July, is just all things home, all things friends, family, and fun. So we're doing that by one of my favorite side dishes. And then later we're going to be doing a brontosaurus burger that my dad made all of growing up. And I'll share a couple stories about that when we make that burger. All right, so we've got some fresh corn. You can either buy frozen bags of corn and let the corn thaw, or you can do it straight off the husks after it's cooked. So here we've got, I'm gonna go ahead and do 4 cups of corn because again, I'm doubling this recipe. I'm gonna take this and just start to mix it up a little bit. Now we're gonna put in cilantro. I love cilantro. I have trouble growing it, but I love cilantro. Do you like cilantro?
Yeah, didn't you do a Tip Tuesday on it?
I did do it. This is what I did it on. So I got this thing. I have something called Tip Tuesdays on my Instagram, Hungry for Home, where I do a lot of tips in the kitchen and in gardening and in family life. And one of the things I did was using this. Actually, I've already done it on that, but I'll show you on basil really quick. This thing is a master. First of all, look at this thing. If you have to do a lot of herbs, this thing, and you can do kale with this, it's incredible. So find the hole that fits it. Is this hole? I think you can go in one more.
However much you want.
Yeah, however you want. And you just pull it through and everything comes off the stem. So you can automatically start chopping it. I found it on Amazon, but it's always good to know a new thing. But I share those things on my Tip Tuesdays. All right, so we've got some peppers we're gonna throw in here, multicolored, just chopped up. And then I use different tomatoes. I like those, I think they're called heirloom ones, where they're all sorts of colors, shapes, and sizes. Audrey and I love to pop them in our mouth. All right, you got that?
Yeah, if you want to
Thank you. One of the final things that goes in this recipe is avocado. We are not going to do the avocado until right before this goes to the table because the avocado can sometimes turn brown and we don't want to do that. You got that? Mm-hmm. You're going to want about 2 cups of the grape tomatoes, the small tomatoes. Cut them small. These are, it's supposed to be a kind of a salad. What's your favorite thing that goes in this? Like a chopped salad, yeah.
I love, I don't even know, avocado or black beans.
Yeah, you're a big black bean.
I love black beans.
All right, and they're so good for you. This will be in the fridge so it's nice and cold. And the dressing is a little bit kind of sweet, which is really a fun, difference in the peppers and the black beans. Let's see, how much cilantro do I add? About, because again, it's doubled, about just a little less than a cup, about a cup. I'm gonna start to sprinkle that in. mean, look at the colors in this. There we go.
So good.
Doesn't it smell good? Here we go. It's a sweet rice seasoning, okay? And then extra virgin olive oil. And I can go ahead and mix it in this. But I'm going to do about a half a cup of virgin olive oil. I'm kind of guessing this. And about 4 tablespoons of this rice seasoning. But it has to be the sweet rice seasoning, not the other one. I've seen the other one too. I might have just added too much sweet ice. A little bit more of that. You got it?
Yeah. Yeah, you can taste it and see.
Yeah, let me taste it, because did you see me give a very
Yeah,
healthy?
I don't know.
All right, let's see.
Too much sweetness.
It won't be by the time I do it. Oh, it's not too sweet. And I'm going to start to just drizzle this all over. It's really easy, really fast to make.
That's probably good, right?
Okay.
It's funny, that's the difference. Half of us like heavily dressed.
That's
and
true. Half of my kids like a lot of dressing. The other, like Audrey,
light.
she could eat a salad with no dressing. Okay. And like I said, thank you, that's it. Right before we serve it, we will cut up the avocado and serve it all over that. Okay, remember when I was talking about nostalgia? Well, these burgers take me back 50 years, 45 years. My dad would make something called the Brontosaurus burger, and I have a fun little story actually while I start. What I start to do, just get however many burgers you're gonna wanna make, the meat. Throw a bunch of pepper, liberally, salt. Now your hands are nice and washed. I also add some moisture. Your hands are washed too, right? Mm-hmm. All right, if you could take your hands and mash it all up while I tell this story. Yeah, you got your rings off. Now what you're gonna need for this is parchment paper, and I use this grill press to make, because we're going to be making very thin patties, filling the inside, putting another patty on, pinching it, and wrapping it in bacon before we cook them. Just to kind of bring you up to speed how I grew up. So in college, I had to work full time while I went to school. So I lived at home. Thank you. Oh, that looks great. Back to this. Take about a third. We kind of figured it out.
Yeah,
a third cup. All right, take a third cup of ground beef. She's going to make a ball out of that ground beef. And the easiest way I have found to make these patties is with the parchment paper on top and underneath, because they come right off so that we can stack them. So back to when I was in college, the only way I could really see or bring all my friends to meet my family was to, on campus, go bring them all out to my house, and my dad would grill for us. And he was making these Brontosaurus burgers. When I was at probably my 20th college reunion, we were all sitting around, and the first thing all the guys said to me was, "Do you still make those Brontosaurus burgers?" So after 25 years, if your college friends still remember this recipe, it was a winner. All right, so we've got all these balls just like this. Okay. And now Audrey is going to take them just a couple at a time, and she's going to put parchment paper on top and the grill press, and she's going to press them down. And we've already done a bunch, so we're just going to have her add them to that plate.
Oh, I need a spatula.
Oh, let me give you the spatula. Here. All right, now they're very easy coming off the parchment paper. They're not easy coming off of a board or anything like that. Perfect, she just flings them on there. Now what we're gonna do, and we can go ahead, we can finish these later. Let me show you what we're gonna do now, Audrey. I'll get another plate. Take 2 of those. Okay, I'm gonna scoot this out of the way. You're going to take diced onion, and we've already shredded cheddar cheese. You can use any kind of cheese that you want, and we shredded it. Don't buy the pre-shredded cheese, and the reason that I say this is that stuff comes coated in like a wax and it doesn't melt very well. So we shredded this earlier.
So more evenly
And you,
sized.
oh, is it evenly sized?
Yes.
You're going to go ahead and put all in the middle, the cheddar, some diced onion. Now again, you might say, no, I want mushrooms, or no. I mean, there can be so many different things in the center. Go ahead and put that on top and pinch all the sides. I have absolutely no idea how my dad named these burgers. And if he were home right now, I would ask him. He probably wouldn't know. I think because they're usually so big that, I mean, he was basically a brontosaurus would have to eat them. I mean, because they're huge. All right. And again, I think we've made them a little smaller. I've taken these toothpicks and I've soaked them in water because you don't want the dry wood when we're grilling. So take bacon. Now this is kind of a thick cut bacon. You're gonna want to take that up. Use the spatula. Now make like a crisscross. All right, set it down. And you're gonna pull it up. This bacon is not quite as long as our normal bacon. And use the toothpick to connect it all. Usually we have other bacon that's thin and it stretches. This is from the farmer's market and it's a little bit thicker. All right, I'm gonna get a plate and we're gonna put this burger on a plate. You got it? The other thing my dad would do, which is why I brought it out, is he would also put barbecue sauce in the center. So when I tell you, you can have fun with this recipe. If you have a favorite sauce that you like with your burgers, I'm gonna put a little barbecue sauce in this one. All right. It is a fun surprise. Just a little different take on what you normally have.
I wonder if you could do like ketchup and stuff in the middle, then you don't have to.
I bet you could.
Do it on top.
Like your favorite.
Condiments.
The one thing that I will not have burgers without, whose pickles do we eat?
Uncle Matt's.
My brother makes pickles, and they're a sweet heat pickle. I mean, he makes them for fun. He's an attorney as well, but I tell him all the time, you've got to sell these pickles. They might be
They're so good.
the best pickle I've ever had, and everyone who's had them, they're the best pickle they've ever had. I think one of the ways a burger is most successful is the bun. I know that sounds crazy, but if it's a dry bun, I don't particularly like it. So our family either fights over a potato bun, which we just get the Martins, or I love a good brioche roll because they're so soft and moist. And then people do it differently. You can either brush them with oil and grill them, or people brush them with butter. I've even seen people brush it with mayonnaise and put them on the grill. It's that kind of combination of crisp and yet super moist and fluffy. So definitely don't skimp out when it comes to the rolls that you go. And then here, yep, these are my brother's pickles. I mean, how fantastic are those? They're sweet and they're hot, but we wouldn't have hamburgers without them. The thing about having family and friends over is usually we get a call to there's a special request, and I'm actually kind of excited about this special request because it is one of my very favorite cakes. It's on page 108 in the cookbook, and I've made it before. It's the Welcome Chocolate Bundt Cake. I prefer the vanilla one with chocolate chips. I think probably we're a split family on this topic, but I'm very excited to make it, and it's so easy. I feel like I'm cheating, but I can tell you if you ever get asked to bring a dessert to an event and you only have a very short time, make this because you will be every single person's favorite guest when you bring this. All right, you're gonna start out with a yellow cake mix. I'm telling you, this is sinfully easy and actually kind of embarrassing, but it is everybody's favorite. And it doesn't even need icing. That's the amazing thing. All right, so you take one of those. Then you're gonna take an instant pudding, not the small box, the big box. you dump everything in all at once. That's what's so nice. All right, I'm gonna dump this in there. I have the oven preheated at 325. This will be good because not everybody's gonna want the sorbet, and it gives people an option. All right, you got that? Mm-hmm. All right, now I'm going to get 1 cup of avocado oil. You know, the recipe in the book calls for vegetable oil, but my daughters have me changing to use avocado oil instead of seed oil. So we're gonna use an avocado oil. All right, a cup, there you go. I'm gonna get a cup of water. I mean, this is literally a dump and go recipe. There you go. A cup of sour cream. When we go to our cousin's house for New Year's, I am asked to make this every day that we're there. Every day that we're there. 4 eggs and a cup of sour cream. Now, Audrey is going to mix all of that with a mixer. We are then going to add however many chocolate chips you want. We have some that don't like too many I mean, when you have this many people in a family, nobody can agree on anything. So we won't put too many chocolate chips. I keep most of my baking ingredients in jars like this with scoops. Okay. You have to try this recipe because I'm telling you, you probably have every single ingredient in your pantry. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and spray avocado oil into a bundt pan. And make sure everything is coated. You don't want any of it to stick. Get a paper towel. I'm just wiping it to make sure every single crevice is greased so that it comes out quickly. Is it ready? Yes. All right. Let's do this. Do you think that's enough? A little bit.
That's good.
A little bit more.
Maybe a little.
Okay. That's how fast this work comes together. Ooh. Got it. Let's dump it into here. Let me use this.
You want to rotate?
Oh yeah, I can turn this. When I tell you, I take this to every luncheon I go to. Every dinner I go to, every party I go to. There you go. And the trick is, you got it. Yeah. You know how my cookies are called Ruth's Barely Baked? Well, the trick to this one is to pull it out at just the right time so that it's not completely cooked because it keeps cooking for a few minutes when you take it out, so that it is absolutely the moistest cake you've ever had. And we are getting this, it's at 325. It's gonna cook between 45 and 50 minutes. Check it at 45. Got it? Thank you. All right. All right, let's go see how Leslie's doing outside. Okay, Leslie, we are ready to go. What is this? I'm so excited. I mean, you never cease to amaze me. So, I mean, if I were to look at this, I wouldn't even know. Are you wrapping flowers around it? What are we doing?
Absolutely. So I'm using this. This is an over-the-table rod.
Okay.
So it's one of my favorite tools to use when making a table scene.
Okay.
Basically, we're only using a half rod today because we're going to show the illusion of fireworks starting here, rocketing off, and going across the
sky. Okay.
Yeah. So we have our smoke. We have our fireworks in red, white, and blue, of course, for 4th of July. And then I'm actually going to ask to highlight some of your favorite things from your garden, which are your alliums.
Yeah, well, they're a special allium. What are they called?
So those, some people call them fireworks allium,
Okay.
but that way we have those big,
The big ones.
the big sparkles
Okay.
going off.
So I'm gonna go look. Do you need anything else?
Some vases.
How many?
Yeah, let's do 5 smaller vases.
Glass?
If you have glass.
You
Perfect.
got it. I'm gonna go on a hunt. So you've heard me talk about my purple allium many times, but there's different kinds of allium. Here's another one, and it's one that I love. It looks like a giant sparkler. And these are what she's going to use to give the illusion of fireworks. So I'm gonna go around the property collecting some of these.
So if you were gonna do this at home, you would need an over-the-table rod. Now, there are lots of places that sell this. We love always shopping at Terrain, so you could definitely find it there. And then you'll need some big branches because you wanna cover your over-the-table rod. The next thing you'll need is a bunch of flowers. So I actually went up to my friend's flower farm at Hickory Grove Gardens and had her pick me the best looking red, white, and blue things that she had for our tablescape that look almost like little rockets shooting off. So we're gonna start by covering this table rod by placing this giant branch of smoke bush from my house on it to cover all of the metal. So we're gonna be attaching that with something else you'll need, which is some floral wire. All right. So this has a natural bend to it, which we're going to be utilizing for this piece. So I kind of picked this one especially for this table when I was cutting it. And I just cut it, so it has like a little bit of give to it. So I'm just going to kind of shake it like this a little bit to make it have a little more of a bend. And then we're going to get it in place. So I'm just going to climb up here. All right. On Ruth's very nice benches. And then I'm going to anchor this right on this corner here. And then I'm kind of going to take these branches and work them around. Now I cut the wire long, and then I'm kind of just weaving it around each other, and then weaving it around the metal piece again, and then it's going to come over back to the branch. And because it's such a heavy piece, we're actually going to be attaching it a few different places. So what we're going to do next is I have my main anchor point, and then I'm going to come down and I'm going to anchor it here, and then we're going to kind of bend this over to anchor it there as well. You kind of want to work with the natural lines of the pieces, but like I said, there's a little bit of wiggle room because it is so fresh. This is a fabulous thing for your garden. It makes a giant shrub. They do also have it in smaller sizes as well. So if you didn't have room for like a 12 by 12 bush, it also comes in a 3 by 3 size, and you can still get these amazing flowers. So once again, I'm coming to where the branch meets this, and then I'm twisting the wire around. I also like to work where there are these little hinges just because that kind of allows you to tie off onto something else if you feel like you need to. At the end of every table, I always do something that's called the wiggle test. So we'll do that at the end. All right, so now I'm going to just cut a little more wire, and we're going to start attaching the top pieces. So I'm going to gently bend this over, and we're just going to kind of keep it following this line. And I'm going to wire it in place. And then we'll get some other branches attached. Now these plumes are super unique. They're one of my favorite things about this. This flower also lasts a really, really long time, as well as the foliage. So if you have like a deep burgundy themed summer wedding, or if you wanted something for fall, this is a fantastic thing to use. It lasts up to 7 days in water. So if you wanted a long-lasting arrangement in your home, or you were having a party and you needed to do the greens a few days ahead of time, this is one of the best plants you can use. And here we have our smoke. Isn't that cool? So I'm going to go in and now add extra branches. So from this side we're covered, but from that side we're not. So we're going to go in and I cut a bunch of smaller pieces. Then I'm going to take the leaves off just so it's not as heavy of a look. And then we're going to attach these flowers. So whenever you're working like this, the materials are what makes the difference. So go out into your garden, find the really mature stuff. Don't be afraid to hack it back. Smoke bush actually comes back really vigorously, so it's something I'm never really shy about pruning out of my own yard. So let me come to the front to see where we need it. You'll notice there's a little bit showing here and some showing here. Not all of it's bad, but we want to cover some of that up. Now you can work in the branches into the other branches, especially when it's this fresh, and just kind of wrap around too. And then just use like the tiniest little bit of wire to tie it off. Now I'm going to leave what's called a tail here because we're actually going to be going through and attaching some other things. So now we have all of our big, beautiful smoke plumes, right? So then we're going to be going through and adding the allium. So these are our fireworks or our sunburst alliums that we're going to be kind of tucking in throughout the whole piece as the little bit of firework. So I'm going to take that tail that I just had, which is up here, and I'm going to tuck in this piece like that and wrap it around so it looks like the fireworks is exploding into the smoke. There we go. And there's our first firework. And then we're going to start putting these around the base. So let's stick a little more water in one of them because it's going to go under the smoke bush. Okay. Perfect. So I'm actually going to just come under here.
Oh, to keep it alive?
Yep. We're just going to have like the littlest bit in there, but I'm also going to put frogs in there too. Okay. So we're going to cover it up. We went over in a past episode what this is, but this is called a frog. So this is actually going to be a comb that you put in to a vase or a bowl or something that is going to have the flowers in it that will hold the flowers in place. So this is going to be what we use to kind of have our rockets coming off. So we're just going to add this guy into the bottom like that. And then we're going to start cutting up some of our rockets. So these are super cool bachelor buttons that my friend grew at her farm. They're just such a really cool shade of blue, and they just kind of pop off, which is exactly what we're looking for this piece. Now for this, I want to keep a lot of the stems longer because that's what's going to kind of give the illusion of it taking off. So you'll see when I stick it in, it just kind of holds in place like that, which is really cool. It's one of the best tools you can ever own in any kind of flower arranging, whether, thank you, Ruth, whether it's minimalist or maximalist flower arranging. It really just holds everything kind of together. These are absolutely gorgeous snapdragons. They're different from the regular snapdragons. See how they're kind of a double? Isn't that fascinating? And they just give that lovely pop of red that we're going for. So the next thing we're going to do once we have some more of our rockets going off is we're going to start putting these in so they kind of come outwards, and that makes it look like there are fireworks shooting all out from all directions. Now whenever you're having a party, it's always important to think about the fact that all flowers fade. So that's why you see me putting it in water. I have little vases which we're going to use towards the top as well. And then they'll get wired into place and then covered with some leaves. But if you just put flowers in a vase, they're going to die or they're going to dry, one of the two. But it might not be the best look for your event. Whenever you're doing flower arranging as well, I always like to cut things at an angle. So that allows the stem to take up a little more water. With certain flowers, you actually go in and cut a divot in. But for these, we're just going to cut them at an angle. And you never want to cut all of your flowers at the same height because then your piece won't have dimension. You kind of want to go through and cut everything a little bit different. Now it's a little bit of a different take on the red, white, and blue because we have the deep reds, the bright reds, but we have the burgundy smoke as well. This is yarrow. This is another wonderful plant that I love to use in these arrangements that I thought just looked kind of like a rocket coming off.
Oh my gosh, if you could smell my kitchen right now. It smells so good. White and blue sorbet, and I am not necessarily a sorbet fan because I find it really, really sweet, but we are making it all with fresh fruit and it is divine, and Leslie is showing me how to do it. She's got a Breville, well, we're not getting paid by Breville, so it doesn't really matter. We've got this ice cream maker, and tell us what we're doing. And by the way, one of the colors is going to be a boozy color. So if you want a little wine in yours, you can. All right, walk us through.
So what we're going to be making today is going to be a red raspberry rosé sorbet. So if you want a rosé the day away and it's hot, this is going to be the dessert for you.
Okay.
So you can either make it with frozen raspberries or fresh raspberries.
Okay.
I made a blueberry and a lemon last night.
Okay.
So you're going to start off the process by making something called simple syrup. So a lot of simple syrups and a lot of ice cream, which is probably why you find it a little too sweet, is made with high fructose corn syrup. So
which we're avoiding.
We didn't want to do that. So what I did is I went to our local Whole Foods store and got cane sugar. Okay. So that way we can make the simple syrup with that. So it's super easy. It's a 1-to-1 ratio. Okay. You want to make it with 1 cup sugar to 1 cup water. Then you take those two, you put them in a saucepan, super simple. Stir, stir, stir until it's all dissolved.
And that's what we have here.
And then you let it cool.
Okay.
So that's what we have here. Because it's cane sugar and it's not as refined, it's going to be not white or clear.
Not clear.
So the stuff you buy at the store, it's going to be clear because it's highly refined and processed.
Got it. Okay.
So the next thing that we did was we whipped up some egg white.
So I took 1 egg, just the egg white, and whipped it with an egg beater.
Exactly. So that's going to act as our stabilizer.
Okay.
So that's kind of what stabilizes the sorbet, but also gives it that fluffy texture, which you guys just kind of tasted a little bit as you had the blueberry. So we're going to take 2 cups of the red raspberries.
So 2 cups.
Yep.
With all the
juice. So I usually just let this sit in my refrigerator to kind of thaw a little bit. Mm-hmm. And what we're going to do is we're just going to mash it through
a strainer. So right now, because we used frozen.
And it's melted.
We don't need the food processor. But if you were using the fresh, you would put them in a food processor.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And if you're using frozen and you still want to food process it to make this a little easier, you certainly can. But because this was already so thawed, it's actually really easy for her to just go through. And you want to get all the seeds and the fibers out of it. That's what's going to give your sorbet like that really rich, smooth texture.
Okay.
Perfect.
There we go. That's 1 of the cups.
Yep.
Okay.
So I would just do it a teeny bit more. We're just going to go through and scrape it.
Because we need to make another cup after this.
Because we're going to make another cup. So I also just like to go down and kind of scrape some of this out.
Okay.
But the juice is really what you want. So with the lemon one, that's going to be more of a juice one. And then the blueberries, I literally went through and did this process to make sure none of the seeds were in it.
Okay.
All right,
so
perfect.
You did the same process
I did
with
the same
lemon
exact thing
as well as
with
blueberry.
the lemon and the blueberry. Yep. So the next thing we're going to do once we have our second cup we're gonna take this, we're gonna mix it with the egg white and 1 cup of the simple syrup. Now with the lemon recipe, I actually did 2 cups of the simple syrup because it's so sour and tart that you kind of want to bring up the sweetness a little more than you would with something that's already sweet. So we're just gonna mash in the 2nd cup. And it doesn't always have to be exact. If you want to have it really be raspberry,
yeah, let's make it a little bit
you
more.
can add some more.
I'm just going to add more juice.
Perfect.
Oh, okay.
And the juice is what holds the sweetness, so it's going to be amazing. Now, I have a huge raspberry patch in my house, and I have 2 different blueberry patches. So I love to use the fresh raspberries and the fresh blueberries. I also will freeze them for the following year and just anything out.
I love that.
We make jam, we make marmalade, all of the different things. Freeze drying them is fantastic as well.
How's that?
That's perfect.
Do I need more?
I would just do it a teeny bit more on this side and then we should be good. So with this lovely machine, which is one of my favorite things that I own in my kitchen, it has a
I do not own one.
So when I was pregnant, which was not that long ago, I wanted one thing and one thing only, and that was homemade ice cream when I wanted that flavor at that moment.
Okay.
So I asked my husband to buy me this, which he did as my little pregnancy present, which was wonderful. So then I was able to make
There you go.
whatever ice cream I wanted instantly.
Okay, so now we've got this.
Yep. So the thing we're going to do next is we're going to mix in 1 cup of the homemade simple syrup
Okay.
into this with the egg white.
Okay, 1 cup of simple syrup.
Yeah,
Cane
perfect.
sugar. All right. Going in there.
And then it's going to
Oh,
go
in
in
here.
the bowl.
I have never done this. Okay.
Super fun.
Now what do I do?
Then we're going to mix in this egg white. So I'm just going to
Okay.
get this out of your way.
Kind of like a meringue.
Yes, exactly. And then we're going to just mix that all together.
Okay. Pouring it away from me. There we go. I mean, it's crazy. This is all there is in it.
That's all there is in
Okay.
sorbet. Isn't that amazing?
That's amazing.
Now with the lemon one, I did make a little zest to throw in before I strained it. Just because I wanted that citrus oil to be in there because I think that's kind of what gives it that extra
Is that
bit.
it?
Perfect.
Okay.
So this is all ready. We pre-chilled it. So we're going to set it to the sorbet setting.
Okay.
And then we're going to just set it right in there. Perfect.
Wow. All right.
And then we're going to attach the lid once this is all out. Now, did you use your fresh eggs?
Yes, I did.
Of course you did.
Right.
So the reason I'm asking is because egg whites always fluff better
If they're fresh.
if they're fresh eggs.
Got it.
So we're just going to lock that in place.
So for about 50 minutes?
So we're going to go for about 50 minutes. At the 40-minute mark, it's going to ding, and we're going to add in our rosé.
So you can add rosé at the very end for those of
Yep.
you who want a little bit of something, something. It is done. Okay, lift it up, lift it up.
All right.
We already put the rosé into it, and here we go. So for the red, white, and blue, you can do one of 2 things. You can do many things, but you can take a wine glass and just do a scoop. This is so good. Of the red. Do a little bit more of red, huh? How do you get it out?
That looks so good.
It looks so good. Now, do you want to do the white?
Yeah, let's do the white next.
Oh my gosh. This looks so good. You can also do it in ramekins.
All right, just like that.
Yep.
Oh, I've never used an old-fashioned one.
Just
You just
squeeze.
squeeze it? Oh, how fun. And then we'll do the blue.
Yes. All right, you got it?
Yeah.
So we got a red, white, and blue. You
Super
can put
fun.
a little sprig of mint.
Yeah.
You can also put them in these white ramekins.
And if you want to make the red a little more red, just mix in some fresh raspberries into it. Or you can have strawberries if you want to, too.
We can actually do this.
Yeah, exactly.
Just stick a couple
There
of
we
fresh,
go.
get a sprig of mint, and there you go. I hope you've enjoyed this. It's gonna be so good.
It's gonna be so
All
good.
right, let's go outside and eat. Heavenly Father, thank you so much for this food. Bless it to our bodies. Thank you for the opportunity that we have to celebrate 4th of July and what that means, that we get to celebrate differences and still love each other. So thank you for that, and bless this food in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
All right.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to go to homeworthy.com for exclusive content, shopping guides, and so much more.